Welcome to another edition of South Center's Chat. It's our pleasure to welcome two visiting scholars as our guests today. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome to this edition of South Center's Chat. It's a great pleasure to be with you once again. My name is Tom Worley. I'm the director here at Ohio State University South Centers, located in Piketon, Ohio. We are a unit of the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Science at Ohio State. And it's my great pleasure today to welcome Jacky as my guest on the chat. Jacky is a visiting scholar from China, and he will share with us just in a minute whereabouts in China and a little bit more about his work and his background over there. But Jacky has spent nearly 2 months. His time with us here at Ohio State is nearing the end, and it's a pleasure to welcome him and learn a little bit more about kind of a special relationship that's developed over the last few years between his research center and our center here at OSU in Piketon. So welcome again, Jacky.
Thank you.
Tell us, if you would, a little bit about your academic training and growing up in China, and how you came to be involved in research at the center where you're located.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jacky. I come from Heilongjiang Province, Academy of Agriculture Science, Jiaxing branch. My main job in our academy is doing crop research. And
what crops would you be involved with working on research in?
The main crops are corn, soybean.
Yeah, and that sets up this special relationship because our soil scientist, Dr. Islam, is a specialist in soils related to growing corn and soybeans, especially here in the Corn Belt of Ohio as well as beyond. And I think that's the basis upon which we have been working and collaborating over the past few years. So maybe before we get a little further into the research and the collaboration, many of our viewers might be unfamiliar with Heilongjiang province. Can you help kind of locate that in a kind of picture it in our mind? What part of China is that?
Oh, Heilongjiang province located in northeast in China.
Okay, it's the very far northeastern province of China, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost very close to Russia.
It borders Russia.
Yeah.
Just a river is the boundary between that part of Siberia, if I'm saying the right thing, in Russia, and your province in China.
Yeah.
The other unique thing about it is that it's on roughly the same latitude as our state here in Ohio. And hence this relationship between being involved in growing the same crops. Just a little bit about the agriculture there. Are there lots of livestock grown in the province, or is it mainly crop production?
Yeah, how a lot.
A lot of livestock as well?
Yeah.
And is that mainly hogs and pigs, or cattle and chickens? What are the livestock that are grown in Heilongjiang?
Oh, we have corn, sheep, and chicken. We have a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Sheep as well?
Yeah, sheep as well.
Okay. Not so many pigs in your province?
Also many pigs.
Many pigs, because China is the world's largest producer of pork.
Yeah.
I just recently read that, and I was quite surprised at the volume. I can't give the exact quote, but a very significant producer of pork in China, as well as that creates this demand, and our farmers are very acutely aware of the market for U.S. soybeans. In the past, we're kind of hitting a blip here under the current conditions with the trade tensions over soybeans and tariffs and all of that, and I think that's probably beyond the scope of where we can talk on a factual basis today, but certainly when you're raising many hogs, you need a source of protein, and soybeans is a great source, as we know here in America. And even though it's been grown for many, many years, it wasn't always grown on a large scale here in America. Just since the early 1950s have soybeans entered our crop rotation and then now grown across the Corn Belt to represent roughly half the acreage each and every year. So they really have gained in importance as new uses have been found for soybean oil. That creates more soybean meal, which goes into the livestock feed. So it's a great relationship, and I said it only goes back 4 or 5 years. That's our part. In our college, the relationship goes way, way back into the early 80s, if not the late 1970s, with a different faculty member who established the relationship. And then there's been a professor in the Department of Food, Ag, Biological Engineering involved, Dr. Larry Brown, and I think that relationship then brought Dr. Islam into the realm here in the last 5 or 6 years, I would say. And so tell us a little bit more about the research center and, the number of people that are involved there and, your specific area of research, if you would, Jacky.
My specific research here? I come here to pursuing my professional development on sustainable crop and soil research. And also I'm interested in research, enrich my practical experience of the farm field.
Have you got to visit some farms here in Ohio while you've been with us?
Yeah, I have visiting a farm. The farm name, I think, is the Fatty Farm.
I'm not sure. Do you remember where it's located? That farm that you're speaking of?
You know Canford?
Yes.
Oh, that's Canford Farm.
Oh, Fayette County,
Fayette County
Farm, right, near Washington Courthouse. Yes, I do. I'm very familiar with that farm, and it's part of a county property that Extension in Fayette County of Ohio is able to use to do research trials and demonstration plots for the county and then surrounding areas. They have a huge field day. I think you're going to be back to China before that happens. I think that comes up in August each year, but it draws hundreds of farmers each and every year to that field day. It's quite significant opportunity that the college is involved with, along with Ken Ford as the Ag Natural Resource Educator in Fayette County. And you're well acquainted with Ken Ford. I think he visited Jamusi a year ago.
Just 2018, last year.
Last year he was there, right? And I think he gave away with being duly impressed by the development of the land in Jamusi province and the size and scale of the equipment that is used over there. This tends to be a relatively new area of extensive agricultural production, and so they are using very large equipment that would rival the size of equipment that we have. In 2016, I think, is the year that I got to be part of a team that went to China on this collaborative visit, and so I've actually been to Jamusi and the large Friendship Farm, I think, that we visited visited and saw huge machinery on display and in the areas where they were storing it in anticipation of the tillage work and all that goes on. So China has many small farms and small plots of land, but in Heilongjiang, the farms tend to be much larger and interested in producing extensive acreages of soybeans and corn.
Yeah.
And so we have had other folks from our center here visit that were really practical farmers, helping to calibrate your drill for soybeans and try to make adjustments that the seed placement was improved and the coverage over the seed and just the fine-tuning that any farmer is aware of that it takes as you move from field to field and conditions change. There are certain down pressures and seeding rates and that need to be taken into account to get the optimum stand established, and that's very important in any kind of crop production. Our farmers have become very adept at precise placement of the seed and very precision population counts when they plant both corn as well as soybeans, and has a big role to play in the ultimate yield that is achieved. So maybe being involved in soil science, could you share a little bit about the natural fertility, the characteristics of the soil in your province? Is it high quality soil? Is it dark black soil like some of the better soils here in Ohio? Or is it hard to work? Is it got high clay content? What's the pH? You know, those factors that you might study in a lab.
Oh, in Heilongjiang province, our soil is black. And fertilized, and the average depth of the soil, black soil.
The topsoil?
Yeah. And
how deep?
Oh,
in centimeters?
No, 20 maybe, or 50.
20 centimeters?
Yeah. Recent years, the deep of the soil, black soil, is becoming lower and lower.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Is that due to erosion?
The most important reason, I think, is the erosion and
water erosion,
conventional tillage. Many years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So both wind erosion and water erosion are factors that you have to watch for.
Yeah.
The land tends to be fairly level, in my memory, at least the part of the province that I visited. Not so hilly, not a lot of slope to the land. Yeah. The other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that a very traditional rice crop is still a big acreage crop in Heilongjiang province.
Yeah.
Much rice is still grown.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I know, Jackie, that we're winding down on time. Tell me, if you can, in just the last minute or so here, what this newfound experience here in America, what's a couple things that you might take back to China that'll be significant memories for you as you return?
Oh, I lived here, gave a wonderful memory, and I learned a lot from the professor here. I also come here, opened my eyes. I'm so thankful for everyone. The people here are so nice.
Okay.
I really want to say thank you for everyone here.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we certainly enjoyed, and that learning from each other, that's always a two-way street, and it's been an opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about China, and especially to get to know you personally a bit as you have spent these last 2 months' time for us. So at this point, I think we are out of time. I want to wrap up and say we'll be right back with our second guest just in a minute. Welcome back. We are in our second segment, and it's a pleasure to welcome Shib, a PhD student here at Ohio State University. His native land is Bangladesh, and so he's really a long way from home, but Shib is working with us on his PhD program. So how long have you actually been in America so far?
So I am here like almost 2 years.
And you studied coursework on campus
Yes.
in Columbus.
Yeah. So actually I am a PhD student in School of Environment and Natural Resource of Ohio State University. So I just already completed my courses in Columbus campus, and in the last month I just started my research part in OSU South Center in Aquaponics project.
Right, right. And you have a background in your home country in aquaculture and aquaponics, as I understand.
Yeah. So actually, frankly speaking, I have a background in production of aquaculture, in recirculatory system, and also in pond. But people are interested about doing aquaponics. So I do not have any experience in aquaponics. So that's why I choose aquaponics would be a best choice for me to do research in aquaponics, and maybe I will learn technology that I can use in my
You're going to generate some new understanding for us, I think all of us, as we work through this project that you're a part of. So you're already a junior faculty member in your home country at a university?
Yeah, I am a lecturer in one of the public universities in Bangladesh, and this university is located in south part of Bangladesh, very close to Bay of Bengal.
Okay.
Indian Ocean, Bay of Bengal.
Oh yeah, huge delta area, is this
huge
right?
delta area.
Absolutely. Subject to a lot of flooding, I think.
Yeah, sometimes.
In the spring runoff. And
yeah.
Right. Well, very well, very well. Now, you have many aquaculture operations in Bangladesh. Is this true?
Yeah, actually we produce a lot of fish, especially freshwater fish and also brine water fish. So in coastal belt we produce a lot of fish and prawn, and we also export a lot of shrimp and fish in USA and European countries.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that we were importers from Bangladesh.
Yes.
I know we import most of our seafood. I think over 90% of all seafood consumed in America is imported from your country, among many others.
Some also come from my country.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, very good. Very good. Well, it's great that we've been able to connect and that you bring that background and experience to our project here. You're probably, I'm aware of the project, but you can go ahead and describe a little bit about the project that you're involved with here.
Yeah, actually I am working here in an aquaponics project. It's a collaborative project with OSU and Central State University. So aquaponics is actually the concept came up from aquaculture with hydroponics. So we have recirculatory aquaculture systems. So water will come up from aquaculture and then it go to hydroponics to produce vegetables like lettuce, tomato. So we are not giving any fertilizer for producing vegetables. So the nutrition will come up from the wastewater of aquaculture. So it's kind of totally organic system.
Yeah, and it's an integrated system that the only input, external input into the system is the fish food.
Only fish food.
For the fish.
For the fish.
And then the crop, vegetables primarily. I think that we're working mainly with lettuce varieties at this point, is totally dependent on the waste from the fish to enrich the water with the nutrients required for crop production.
Yes.
And so when all the conditions are right, and I think this is the key and why Shib is doing important work, is to figure out what are the optimal conditions. You can grow beautiful crops of lettuce and which make a very tasty salad. We have been privileged to experience some of that here from the crop at the center, and I think this is the big advantage, not just the environmental side, but it's a very desirable from a consumer perspective, and it has excellent quality and taste. absolutely.
Yeah. And at the same time, not only production, we are also thinking about the water quality management. So, you know, in the whole world, due to aquaculture, a lot of polluted water is discharging in natural system. So that's why we are focusing how to manage water in organic way, do not use any chemicals. Or
and you tend to, well, I know it's a recirculating system, so the addition of extra water is fairly minimal, as I understand, that you don't, you know, that the plants are efficient uptake of those nutrients in that water, and so therefore it comes back into the fish tank in good enough condition that the fish tend to thrive with that recycled water.
Yeah, and one most important thing, we are using the same water. We are not using the new water.
Right.
So that also save water.
Right. And that would be a little bit different than the hydroponic system, where you're cycling through and then adding water and nutrients more or less continuously. I'm not sure where it's exactly continuous, but pretty much on a regular basis you have to add the nutrients and then, you know, remove the other water and so forth. So yeah, this is really exciting for us. And just for our viewers that might not be aware, Central State University is the newest 1890s land grant institution, and this project grew out of their water quality lab that is long-standing at Central State. That is near Dayton, Ohio, so it's not really a long distance from here. But the beauty of our project is that they are replicating the system that we have installed here in our greenhouse. They're putting the identical system together in a greenhouse of theirs. So we'll have two different locations for this research, which is important for the robustness, if you will, of the results. That if it's replicated in more than one location, the results have a lot more basis in science and credibility and reliability than if we're just doing it here in one location over a period of time. So we're trying to replicate the conditions, the equipment, the same variety of plants, the same type of fish, all the factors. Obviously the water is not going to be precisely the same, but we're doing, you would vouch for me on this, we're testing the water in both locations to make sure that there aren't big differences, or if there are, that we factor those in to how we account for the growth of the fish and the plants. Now, one thing about aquaponics, Shib, that you can help me with, my understanding is that really an aquaponics system is way more about the plant production in terms of a marketability and a revenue generator. You're going to have a lots more of this organic lettuce to produce, and I may have misnomered on the organic. Can it be called organic or not?
It's organic. It
is organic. Okay. So Shib has settled that for me. So there's a ready market in high-end restaurants for these types of lettuce greens that you know where they were produced. They were produced in an aquaponic system. Restaurant customers, especially high-end restaurant customers, are willing to pay extra for that, and therefore the restaurant can pay the producer. And so we have some very successful operations here in Ohio that serve that market in Columbus and Cleveland, Cincinnati, other places that have, you know, a large restaurant trade with many levels and layers of types of restaurants, but it tends to be the high-end ones that really want to go for these type of products, and of course that means that the willingness to pay is there, and so that's a big thing. But the fish is kind of a bonus. After a certain length of time, the fish reach marketable size, and you have some fish to market as well.
Yeah. And in that sense, I just want to add you that aquaponics is very suitable in urban agriculture.
Good point.
As you know, urbanization is increasing, so most people are living in city, not in rural area.
Right.
But even living in the city, you can do some aquaponics, like a small scale in your backyard.
Right.
So you will have organic vegetables and with some fish also.
Okay. Well, I think that that's part of the beauty. We've had groups of people here in what we've called boot camp, and many of them have come in who have these very kinds of systems out in their garage, maybe some in their basement, some on porches, backyard. Here in Ohio, our winters would be different than Bangladesh. We have winter. I don't think you have very much winter to deal with, so you might be able to do it out in the open and just maybe cover the fish with a net and so forth to keep them in, or shade them, as the case might be, to kind of control water temperature. But here it's important that it be in an indoor situation and to maintain production through the winter. So one question that often comes up is, how long does it take to grow a lettuce crop in an aquaponic system?
So it will not take a long time, like within 4 to 5 weeks you will get a harvest of aquaponics. But for fish you need more time, like more than 6 months to produce fish.
Yeah, so those same fish can produce many crops of vegetables, but again, that comes back to the quantity that you have available. And in an ideal world, you get set up, if you're doing this commercially, that you have fresh cuttings every week at least, if not twice a week, because again, if somebody's going to pay top dollar at a high-end restaurant for a beautiful salad, it has to be fresh, and that means it was just clipped and back on the plate within a day or 24 hours. I'm not sure of the exact time frame, but I don't think that lettuce is anything that stores for very long periods of time, and so you need to be able to deliver fresh product on a consistent basis is one of the keys to developing that market. Well, Shib, I really am excited about the research you're doing. We're really happy to have the collaborative project with Central State University, and we're working with good people over there as well. And it's really a great thing that you are able to get your PhD dissertation out of this data. At least that is our plan. And I think with the start you have made, you will see it all the way through to the very end. So I think we have 2 more years at least on the project.
Yeah.
Yes.
It will take 2 more.
2 more years. Yeah. And in many ways, we're still in the kind of the ramping up stage, getting things synchronized. And even though we've had our system in place now for over 6 months, and we've grown some lettuce, but again, we're still in very much in the discovery phase of all those variables, because it does make a difference as to how bright the sun shines and what temperature it is in the greenhouse, and how crops are managed. And so it takes a lot of fine-tuning to make that work. And so we're excited. Your plan would be, at the end of your PhD, would be to return to your home country of Bangladesh?
Yeah.
And you'll be eligible for a faculty track role at that point?
Yeah.
This is great.
So still I am just holding my job, so still I have the position.
Oh, right.
So I can rejoin after having PhD as the assistant professor.
Right. Okay. Well, we have nothing but good expectations of your program here with us. And Jacky, that was on in the first segment, just to refer back a minute, he's here for a very short time, and in order to get geared up to drive in America, that's not possible. But with Shib, I happen to know and have confirmed that he's able to have his own car and to make the trip from main campus, where he still resides, here to Southern Ohio on a regular basis, and that's a really big advantage. And one of the freedoms and one of the privileges, one of the opportunities as Americans, we have a lot of flexibility in where we go and how fast we get there, and many options, given that we have such a road system and the freedom to travel roads and take us to wherever it is that we want to go. So I'm sure you're going to get to see more than Ohio while you are here, and I want to wish you well, and thank you for your time here on the South Center's Chat today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
We'll see you next time on South Center's Chat. Thanks for watching.